preparing me psychologically. Do you believe in everything that leaves you melting down? You sell it all to yourself. You don't care if I'm alive or dead, as long as I don't become a threat. Delete these viruses that you spread. Uninstall your software from my head. Uninstall your software from my head. Blindfolded while you held my hand, drag me through hell, all part of your plan. None of it matters, it's all over now. Say goodbye, you get the cold shoulder now. It's well done that I'll take for myself. Put my thoughts in a reason I shall. Delusions of grandeur, illusions of pattern. To my desire, well, you're just a liar, and I'm sick of it all. You don't care if I'm alive or dead, as long as I don't become a threat. Delete these viruses that you spread. Uninstall your software from my head. You don't care if I'm alive or dead, as long as I don't become a threat. Delete these viruses that you spread. Uninstall your software from my head. Uninstall your software from my head. Uninstall your software from my head.
The summer of wrestling has officially launched, and we've had an exciting weekend with 4 shows, and we're closing it out with our final closeout of the night with Double or Nothing. We're going to be recapping Vegas' showdown right here on the Worldly Podcast. Let's go.
So what does it mean to be a raging Cajun? Southwest Louisiana, wreck your face, man. Still don't get it in, I'ma let you know. All you gotta do is come and join the show.
We are the highest tier pod of your weekly unfiltered wrestling and entertainment. Welcome to the Worldly Podcast. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube and Twitch as well. Before we say anything else, we want to wish everyone a happy and safe Memorial Day. And we're going to dedicate this episode to all the fallen soldiers that never came home that are diehard wrestling fans like yours truly. Thank you for your service. God bless y'all. First off, the Hostly Trio is back. I'm Marcus. You can find me on Twitter at MarcusElite337. Dylan, how are you doing, man? Where can we find you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It feels like an eternity since I've been on the show. You know, I missed last week's prediction show with my dental procedure I had. I missed y'all's show yesterday for some family stuff I was doing. But it feels good to be back, you know. Freddy, it's nice to meet you, man. I know we talked a few times on Twitter. I know you were on our show yesterday, so it's also very, very nice to have you on. But I'm on Twitter at DylanABR_. And every time I'm talking, Marcus, you're eating so much in the camera. I think you just do it intentionally just to fuck with me all the time.
We've been getting all of a traction with that. I'm like, what's Marcus going to eat next when Dylan talks? So it's kind of been a trend. I'm just eating a sesame seed bun to see how it goes.
That's too good.
Or if you watch Family Guy, they say a bread sandwich. So I'm eating a bread sandwich. So, yeah, man, we got Freddy back in the house. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Having a good Memorial Day. I did some barbecuing today, went to the pool. Happy to be back on for the second day. You can catch me on Twitter at TheRealFreddy85, and I'm ready to get into this, man.
Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and you can find me at Jordan_J2000.
How many beers are you on today so far?
I told you before we went on, I was drinking wine.
Oh, you upgraded. You fancy now. Well, how'd y'all let's go acknowledge Tim King, fellas, the Tim King Show and the Bloodline Entertainment Network. So, yo, what's up? Anyhow, how'd y'all That's the guy right there. Justin from the In Time Wrestling Podcast, the greatest substitute you can ask for. And check out his show, the In Time Wrestling Podcast. They'll be back soon. Anyhow, how was y'all's Memorial Day weekend? Anything special happen?
No. Barbecue pool. That's it.
Worked. Date night. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Texas Roadhouse. A lot of laziness with video games and streaming like tonight. I watched a lot of wrestling over the weekend too.
Mhm.
So much. Too much.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask Dylan and Jordan real quick. Give me just your quick thought on Night of Champions. What did you like about it? Best match, worst match, and of course that amazing ending that Freddy and I talked about the other day.
I mean, the show was good. I mean, it was a really good show. I thought everything was good about it. Start to finish, I thought they really put on a great show. Match of the night was one I was looking forward to so much with AJ and Seth. I thought they tore it down, and I correctly predicted it. Just like a lot of people did. Seth Rollins deserved it. He's been their workhorse for the last year. I mean, while Roman, their champion, is taking time off, here and there, he's part-time, and Seth Rollins has been carrying this company, and he deserved it. I'm not looking at it so much as a like a participation trophy, like a lot of people say the world heavyweight title is, since no one can beat Roman. He just deserved it, man. He is the workhorse of the WWE, and he deserved everything about this championship. There was really no bad match in my opinion. I thought everything start to finish, like I mentioned, was good. I mean, they were for being Saudi Arabia, I'm just not a big fan of them going there, but just in general, they did really good. I thought it was a great show.
Jordan?
Yeah, I think it was a great show. I liked AJ and Seth, and I liked the ending.
Oh yeah, I think everyone loved that ending. There was actually one bad match. It was Rhea and Natalya.
Yeah, I mean, it's a squash match.
Yeah, but you know what? That match is what it needed to be. It didn't need to go. It didn't need to be a banger. It needed to just. She needed to go in there and really needs to start going in there and just destroying people now. That's it.
What did you guys think of NXT Battleground? I mean, I don't really have much to say on it. All I gotta say was my favorite match was Dijak and Ilya Dragunov. They tore the house down in that last man standing. Everything else was kind of predictable, except I probably lost maybe I think I just lost 2 matches on that whole card. But that Dijak Dragunov match, I tweeted us, and even Freddy commented too. I said, put the title on both those guys. I mean, it's hard to pick to give the NXT title to after Carmelo's reign is done, but at least give one of them the North American title.
I agree. I think that match is probably going to go a candidate for match of the year. That was so good. It was really good. They beat the shit out of each other. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. What did you guys think of Battleground, or y'all didn't watch it?
I kept it up, while I was watching AEW. AEW had more of my attention than NXT, so I'm gonna go back and watch some of the matches. But Dijak and Dragunov, they beat the hell out of each other. Dragunov was fucking crying his eyes out when the match was going on. He was getting his ass kicked so much. So it was a good match. I feel like, just like I believe it was you, Marcus, that said, they both need championships at this point because they really had a good match. But Tiffany Stratton finally winning a women's championship after deserving it for so long. This was bound to happen, So finally happy that she got her moment from NXT being a women's champion. I expect her to carry it for quite some time because she really deserves it.
Jordan?
Yeah, I had 2 TVs up, but I was watching AEW more than NXT.
So Justin might be the only person I've ever heard say Battleground was the best show of the weekend. Night of Champions, I thought, was good. It wasn't the greatest show on earth. I figured it was probably out of Night of Champions or Under Siege. I agree, Double or Nothing was pretty meh. Definitely started off horribly, and then it like kind of went down a bumpy road. It was good here, bad here, good here, bad here. I didn't watch if they're calling it the 0 hour now or the buy-in, like I don't know what they call it still, but I was glad they put that 6-man tag on there, but I didn't watch it. But all I needed to see was one trend, and I was like, yep, that's what I thought of the whole thing. Jeff Hardy, dude, fucking retire, please. you can't move like you did in 1999 2000. Like let it go, hang it up. And Matt Hardy too. Fuck him.
He blew up so fast in that match. Lord.
Oh yes, he did.
Very, very quick. You could tell he was gassed. He was out of it. And when I saw him go to the top rope and he slipped, I was like, "Fuck, this is bad."
That was the first.
I mean, I don't know if he was working it, but it didn't seem like it was a part of what he was supposed to do. I know people was like he was selling it, that he was tired. It didn't look that way.
No, he's just old.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it was bad. It was so bad. AEW is making them a couple of changes there. Like, it was so weird seeing the announce table like at ringside instead of by the corner of the stage,
Right.
like if they were Raw. And it was so weird seeing Jim Ross back, where I can't remember the last time. I don't even think he was calling Revolution. I think he was still fighting, doing his treatment for cancer. It was Taz, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone mostly you see on Dynamite and everything, but JR was on commentary last night with Excalibur and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, and Taz, right? Taz was on here too.
I think Taz rotated every so often.
Right.
Because I did hear his voice. The 6-man tag on the buy-in. Yes, Jeff tweaked his knee first, and then he's right. The show kicked off with Royal, which it's no longer called the Casino Battle. But okay, hear me out. Are all the participants supposed to be in the ring, or this is just like AEW's version? And they didn't get in until they wanted to. And it was so hard to keep up with a certain amount of people. I was mainly focusing on two people, Orange Cassidy and Ricky Starks, most of the match.
Yeah, it started. Nobody was in the ring when it started. It's not the traditional Royal Rumble, not even the traditional Battle Royal. It seems. I was hoping Jay White was going to win. That was my pick, either him or Ricky Starks. I kind of wanted those two to win. It's just weird that they signed Jay White and just throw him in a fucking Battle Royal. I don't understand that. I thought he would be a part of this Elite BBC a storyline. It just thought it would go that way because he is friends with the Elite. It's kind of the Bullet Club whole faction thing, but to just throw him in a Battle Royal it's just so off to me. I don't know.
Him and Juice should have had better. Should be in a better storyline. Like put them against FTR for the tag titles, not fucking Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Mm-hmm. That's just one idea. But at one point, the final four? The final four was like Orange Cassidy, Swerve, Big Bill, and was it Penta? That was the final four.
I thought it was Jay White. I thought Swerve threw out Jay White and Starks, right?
Oh, Starks was like the sixth guy. Like if they were down to the final six, like he was like one of the final six.
Yeah, because I know Swerve threw out Jay White and somebody else, and then it came down to Swerve and Cassidy.
Well, I remember Big Bill was one of the final four. I thought the fourth guy was Penta because he was in there for a good bit too, but it might have been Jay White. But Ricky Starks eliminated Jay White. I thought he eliminated him and Juice, but Starks was like one of the final six gone. So I think he got eliminated before Ricky Starks got eliminated. But the final two was Orange and Swerve. And they dragged it. Like, I'm waiting to see who's going to come out on top. Even though the Battle Royal lasted like 8 or 9 minutes. That was a very quick Battle Royal. But it was just the way it ended. Like, they were on the apron. I was hoping, like, Orange Cassidy was going to go for a Superman punch, but he did one of those, like, lazy. He just kicked his hand off the rope and he fell backwards. Orange retains. I chuckled a bit. I thought it was kind of funny, but I was like, they need to do better than that. But I think everyone picked Orange to retain, or a lot of people did. I know a lot of people were shooting for Ricky to win, or there were some people rooting for Jay White to win, but I think we all had a feeling Orange was going to retain somehow.
I think this was the time to take the belt off of him. I think they could have. It could have been Jay White. It could have been Starks. Even could have put on Swerve Strickland. I mean, I think he's run his course, being that champion. He's on every week Dynamite, opening up, defending it. I mean, and he beats everybody, and then he beats 20 other people in a battle royal. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just not good. I mean, he has run his course with that championship. It's come to a point where he opens up every episode, or just about every episode of Dynamite. He's taken on some sort of open challenge or something that has zero meaning behind it. I feel like the championship was introduced for something different and has turned into a title that has no meaning behind it. I feel like kind of up until last night, the TBS title was the exact same way because it has no meaning. It was all open challenges. It wasn't people that were building stories or anything like that. Orange Cassidy hasn't had a legit storyline in God knows how long, and he's been the champion for quite some time, and everything's an open challenge that has no meaning behind it. So I feel like if you're a title holder, I feel like you need to that you need to at least be put in some sort of position where you need to have a story behind you. Look at the AEW championship. It was the 4-pillar thing forever, and then they finally did it last night, and it's getting to the point where it's becoming something that's hard to watch because it's something that Orange Cassidy is just going to win. So it should have been put on somebody like a Jay White, even though I feel like Jay White should have had his own match for Double or Nothing last night. It should have been maybe Ricky Starks and Jay White and just by themselves instead of being in a battle royal. I kind of feel like maybe Swerve should have won it. I feel like someone should have won it that could possibly have a good story behind it, to have somewhere down the line where they'll go against someone, they could actually turn it into a pay-per-view caliber like match, maybe at Forbidden Door, something like that. It's just getting to the point where it's so hard to watch. It's just not good anymore. Orange Cassidy has such a great gimmick, people love him. People dress like him in the crowd. He has such an interaction with the crowd. It's just he's getting nothing, and it's just getting to the point where it's so hard to watch right now, AEW, because it's going to open up an Orange Cassidy, some sort of open challenge. And no matter how big the person is, he's going to beat him somehow. So I think it's just time for them to move on with that championship, either put it on someone else who could have a good story behind it, or drop the whole championship altogether, because there's no meaning behind it. Ever since they took it off of Pac, there's been no meaning behind this championship whatsoever.
I agree.
Yeah, this match was... I really didn't like it. It was just, I think it was like too many people. I think if they moved, move down the numbers, I think they would. Mm-hmm. It would be a great match. My pick was Orange Cassidy, and my backup was Ricky Starks to win it.
It was a 21-man battle royal. I mean, that's pretty normal for a battle royal. It's not like it was a 60-man battle royal for that mid-card title. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big question. Who's next for Orange Cassidy now? Speaking of Orange Cassidy, look, I was one of those people who dressed like him.
Oh, yeah, I remember that picture, yeah.
Yeah. I was for Halloween last year, 2 years ago, 2021. Did that. But yeah, I was one of the people that said, yeah, I want to see a Ricky Starks Jay White feud. Like, remember later in the night, Ricky was getting interviewed and then he was getting attacked by Bullet Club Gold or whatever they are now. Him and Juice together.
They're still using that Bullet Club shit.
I love it. I'm a proud member of the Bullet Club. I got 2 Bullet Club shirts right here. I got the Cody's edition, the where the logo's like American flag.
Right.
And I have their original shirt, the OG shirt.
I just feel like they're overdoing it. You have it in New Japan, there's some in Impact, and now you have a whole nother version in AEW. It's kind of
Then you got the only thing that's worried about them Bullet Club is like then they make names like Buck Club or Balor Club or Ace Bay Club or Victory Club and all that bullshit. I'll tell you what, really, just the next match, sir, I was expecting to see a damn good match here. This one really upset me. Expecting a bunch of crazy shit happening. If you're an enforcer, you're supposed to slide in. You're supposed to be there for the 3 count if the referee's unconscious. No, Sabu with a chair swinging fight with Jericho. Then this, however the fuck old he is, what, 78 or something, jumps off the turnbuckle and does a horrible splash on top of the cool hand. And then they finally are alone in the ring. See, I was hoping to see a bloody brawl. Like, when I think of unsanctioned, I think of Triple H, Shawn Michaels from SummerSlam. How brutal that was. This was a flop. And then on top of that, then you get Britt Baker trying to get involved, and she beating the fuck out of Jericho with a kendo stick before Saraya tries to interfere and help get involved. But he knocked him out. I mean, not knocked him out. He put him in that submission hold, and the referee had to stop the match. I didn't expect it to end like that. I was expecting like a Panama City Sunrise off the freaking top rope or something through a table or something. Not it to end like that. It really upset me. And people were so upset about it. They're like, I want this over with. I don't want another Jericho Cole match. Well, later in the night, you saw Saraya and Jericho bitch about that. And it's like, we're going to talk to Tony Khan. We want a mixed tag match. And then he threw a fireball in that security's face. And he was like, told you don't talk to me like that. I'm a wizard, bitch. That made me laugh. So, yeah, I'm not interested in this mixed tag. I might even skip that match, even though I love Adam Cole, baby.
Wasn't this match advertised, though, kind of like as no holds barred type deal with Sabu? Unsanctioned, so that's basically no holds barred. Why was the pace so slow as like a regular wrestling match the entire match? It did nothing for it to be unsanctioned. There's nothing about it to be unsanctioned. It was really slow paced, as if it was a regular match on Rampage or Dynamite. It was nothing special about it. And the stoppage, that was complete bullshit. Yes, that was a dumb way to end the match to me.
Yeah, and Dylan made a solid point. He said that crowd was just not on its game. That was the worst I've seen Vegas act. I was expecting them to sing the hell out of Judas and sing Adam Cole's song. They didn't even sing his song. But I heard that attendance was very bad, and they said it was like 13,000.
I think it was even less.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to the pictures I saw, but they do that every damn time. They always got to take a picture of the side where the camera crew is, where there's no seats. And then some guys are like, oh, we could play that game. And they show the Battleground crowd, and the Battleground crowd was like 2,000 people. It looked like a TNA show from back in the day. But, okay, Dylan, I know you were highly upset about this match, too. You was expecting, like TK said, a banger. And we got a...
So before I give my thoughts on it, Marcus, you said Sabu was in his 70s. I want to know if anyone actually knows how old Sabu really is, because I just looked it up.
I'm gonna go 66, at least.
Okay.
I'll go 63.
I'm going to go 58.
Did you look it up? Because he is 58.
Yes, I did look it up.
I figured you did, you son of a bitch.
He's not even 60. Damn. I
thought he was fucking older than Excalibur's the one that said 70-something-year-old guy. Well, he don't know his shit.
Yeah, he did say that. He said a 70-something-year-old guy jumping off the top rope. Dude, he did say that.
Sabu don't look 58. He looks 68 or 78. Oh my god. He was born in 1964. I thought it was like 44 or 50, 1944 or 1954. No.
Wait, so he's younger than Sting?
Yeah. Sting's in his 60s.
Christ.
He's also older than Lex Luger.
My God.
Dude, I'm rocking my cassette. Look how awesome this shit is. It's all rock cassette tape. Yeah, but I've been getting bashed because there's a Def Leppard tape on here. And fuck y'all, I love Def Leppard. Telling me, all right, yeah, Will Gray, what's your joke? I don't know why y'all think Def
So this match was a mess. I'm sorry. For AEW, they went 0-2 on this one. The Battle Royal was a mess. And this one, for an unsanctioned match, you think it would be more fast-paced than what it was, because the crowd was so dead daring it. And it's actually a match I was excited for. And I was looking forward to Jericho and Adam Cole. And it was not good. I mean, yeah, there was involvement by Britt Baker and Saraya came to the ring and whatnot, and then it's leading to a mixed tag, which I have zero interest. If it's going to be anything like the unsanctioned match, I have zero interest in watching this match at all. It was just not good. So if it led to what else this pay-per-view was going to be, I wasn't excited for it whatsoever. I stayed in my phone most of the match because if the crowd was going to react to something, then I'll start looking up, but it wasn't good. Like, it was just a whole mess from start to finish.
Yeah, I thought this match was gonna be a banger, and it was just a mess. Yeah, it was just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Non-wrestling related, but I just want to know who you think's worse, Def Leppard or Nickelback?
Nickelback, for sure.
Which I love Nickelback too. Supposedly, so I'm the jackass. Speaking of jackasses, let's go to this match. I didn't expect to be this early, but we got it out of the way. But we got FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. With Mark Briscoe as the special guest referee, I will give credits to his referee shirt. I loved his referee shirt. The black stripes being camo stripes, pretty cool. God, I don't know who I want to start with. I'll start with Sanjay Dutt. He gives me either Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe vibes. That dude is a fucking stooge.
J&J Security vibes, a little bit.
Yes.
Yes, J&J Security. Yep.
And that painting on the back. Okay, I haven't been watching Rampage. When did they go to the Briscoe farm and try and make a scene from a movie, and they were holding Mark's little baby boy?
Yeah.
You saw Singh, the basketball player, the big bodyguard? It ain't Satnam Singh. It's yeah, it is Satnam Singh.
Yeah, Satnam Singh. Yeah.
He was holding the little boy, and I'm like, put that kid down, you kidnapper.
Those vignettes were actually pretty good when they were doing that. I watched them on YouTube.
I did
Those
too.
weren't bad. They weren't bad.
I was doing that during the match because I was not interested in the match. So I went back. I'm like, oh my God, this is actually funny, but it's like stupid at the same time. And boy, oh boy, God, I wish I had Justin here right now. I hope he comments about it. Karen fucking Jarrett. That bitch. That bimbo. I hate her. First off, she broke Kurt Angle's heart, which she says Kurt Angle's own fault. Her in the wrestling world doesn't want me to watch wrestling anymore. Like, she kind of gives, I don't know who to compare her to, but every time she got involved, I would get so furious. And then on top, okay, then you saw they had guitars. Like, Jarrett had a Dax guitar with Dax's name on it, and Lethal had a guitar that had Cash's name on it. Well, Aubrey Edwards gets hit with a guitar because Mark Briscoe gets taken out of the match. At one point, he gets he get hit with a guitar, I think, or speared. And Aubrey Edwards is coming out to be the ref. Well, Sanjay didn't want to get out of her way because he was supposed to be ejected from the arena. Mark Briscoe banned him and Satnam and Karen Jarrett from ringside. She won't get out of his way. I think she punched him in the face or kicked him in the balls. And then when she turned around, Karen Jarrett whacked her with a fucking guitar. And then she tripped over her own fucking heel. I was like, that's what you fucking get. And Aubrey Edwards talked shit on Karen Jarrett when she interviewed Jeff Jarrett on Unrestricted. I laughed hysterically. Milk shot up my nipples. That's how funny it was.
I mean, I think you knew that. I think that spot was going to come once she was talking shit about Karen Angle. You kind of thought she was going to get hit with one of those guitars when she ran down. But I thought it was another 0 for 3. Like I wish it was somebody else in that spot versus FTR. Like I said, Jay White, Juice Robinson, somebody. They don't need to keep going back and forth with this Jarrett and FTR. It was just a miss for me. It was a throwaway and another throwaway tag team match. It did nothing. It did nothing to progress any of them. I mean, there's no rematch. I don't see where they go from here.
Oh, hope not. Please no.
So, I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, he slaps Mark in the face. Mark slaps him back, and he turns around and gets hit with the big rig. and he counts the 1, 2, 3, and then it's over. And I'm like, thank God. Jeff Jarrett on TV is already bad enough, but now Karen as well. Good God, both of them go away. Yes. They're not going to go away, though. They're just going to make it worse. So, yeah, thank God that was over. Then we get Wardlow versus Christian Cage in a ladder match for the TNT Championship. This match actually wasn't that bad, but the chaos at ringside with Luchasaurus and Arn Anderson was like, this wasn't something we don't need. Like, how did Arn Anderson get busted open in the back of the head? Did he bite him in the back of the head?
No, he bit Luchasaurus's finger. I don't know if you noticed when Arn ran into the ring, his mouth was closed. So I'm assuming he had the blood pack in his mouth, but he bit down on Luchasaurus's thumb. Made it seem like he opened up his thumb from biting down on it. And whenever he fell out the ring, I guess the blood in his mouth went to the back of his head.
Wardlow did a better swanton than Jeff Hardy probably had planned that night. But I think
that was one of the better spots of the pay-per-view by far. That swanton off the ladder. I still think it's asinine that they keep trying to climb the broken ladders and having people help them hold the ladders and try to climb up. Dude, just get a new fucking ladder, or put enough ladders out there. If one breaks, you get a new one to put in the ring.
Yeah. Well, I never seen so many people happy to see Wardlow retain a title, because everyone was like, "Oh my God, if Christian wins, I'm done." But they got lucky.
I thought Christian should have won. I think he's been one of their top heels that they have.
I didn't even know who was the babyface in this match. I figured it was Wardlow. I guess I thought he was a heel. Like, who's the I guess, is Wardlow babyface?
Wardlow's supposed to be a babyface, and Christian's supposed to be a heel with Luchasaurus. That's how I took it.
Because I was about to relapse deciding that, because I'm like, Arn Anderson's supposed to be a heel, and they're trying to make him a face, but people's like, he reminds me of Goldberg now when they chant his name. I don't know. What did y'all think of the ladder match?
I mean, it was decent, kind of getting back to the last match, since you skipped over both me and Jordan getting our thoughts on it.
No, I thought y'all said y'all's thoughts on it.
We didn't say shit.
That's on me.
It's all good.
What you got in
the
that
last
cup?
match. Yeah, wait, what's in there? Because it seems like you're what is it?
Code Red.
Oh, okay.
But all right, I'm just making sure.
Not drinking wine, because I don't drink wine. I drank all my Miller Lite over the weekend, so I'm staying. Well, I'm actually not hydrating myself when I need to be, because it's like it's hotter than the devil's dick outside. All right, get your shit together. Jimmy Uso is your tribal chief now.
But yeah, I mean, nothing much to say about the last match. It was 0 for 3. Not good. It wasn't that typical FTR match like Justin mentioned in the comments. It seemed like an FTR match is always pretty exciting, but adding in Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal of all people, I thought Jeff Jarrett was getting hired by AEW, kind of like a backstage personality. And now he's getting match after match. It's kind of getting annoying at this point. And then adding in his dumbass wife in there was just adding on.
He just let it out like hell yeah.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good, And I really thought for some odd reason that Mark Briscoe was going to turn for some reason. The whole pile driver to him whenever Dax is, he couldn't see and he pile drived him. I thought that was going to lead to something, but luckily it didn't, because I don't see Mark Briscoe turning heel. I was happy he made up with FTR during it, so it was good, but. The Wardlow match was good. It was something that kind of gave me more of a hope for this pay-per-view, because it was a really good match. I thought it was good. The Swanton Bomb spot was a little bit off. I think he should have maybe not jumped as far, because it seemed like he put himself through a table more than he put Christian through it. But I mean, he did overshoot it. But I mean, for what he was given, I really think he did okay with it. He's a big dude, so I didn't even expect him to do stuff like that. So for what he did, I thought it was good. So it was one of the better matches. I think it was their first good one of the night, if I'm gonna say that. But it kind of gave me a little more hope going into the pay-per-view. But it was okay.
Yeah, the FTR match. I saw better matches with them, and the Warlow match. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but I liked it.
I think that match definitely it woke the crowd up a little bit because they were dead
Mhm.
for the first 3 matches, like silent, no reaction to anybody. But I think that match kind of it woke them up a little bit and it got them more juiced up until what came after.
Yeah. So then we get to the women's championship: Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter.
Ugh.
Oh my god, I thought George just did that because he moved his hand right when you said you did that vomiting sound. I think Dylan was right. I guess Jamie Hayter is injured. I don't know what the injury is, but remember you mentioned that because the match wasn't even that long. It was a squash match.
It was 3 minutes.
Good morning, Thumb broadcast in the house, all the way from Australia. Yeah, that was. I didn't realize how quick it was. Like it was like a cup of coffee. Like, and I really meant like I went got me a cup of coffee and I turned around, the match was over, and I'm like, damn. And then she got jumped on the way to the ring from Saraya and Ruby Soho, and then I'm like, oh great, I hate this faction. These wannabe female NWO wannabes spray painting people with L's with green. I don't know if they're trying to be like DX or NWO combined with the green spray paint and shit. But I mean, before when I saw, I was thinking, did Britt turn on or something? Britt never even got involved. Jamie was kind of on her own. So whatever this injury is, I'm hoping she can get healed up real quick. And if they stretch it all the way to All In, where she can compete in her home country in the UK, so be it. But I mean, I guess it's all right, Tony Storm, because I like Tony Storm when she was in NXT UK. They didn't use her right in WWE, the main roster, but I mean, I like Tony Storm. I don't like the other two right now, but hopefully they know how to use her correctly. Whoever decides to challenge for her next, whether if it's Britt or another particular person we're going to talk about later in this show, or whoever else they got that want to get called up, step up to the plate. But it's hard to decide what the worst match is, and I'm going to nominate this as one of them. But at the end of this stream, we'll debate that. But give me your take on this squash match that Dylan just called. He literally he didn't join the live stream. But when he sent me his picks, he had in parentheses, it's going to be a squash match or something because Jamie Hayter's hurt, and he had Tony Storm winning, and he called it. He called it. Hire him. He'll make good graphics.
Yeah.
Dylan, since you called it, you lead off.
Yeah, so it was exactly how I thought it was going to go. I didn't necessarily think that it would lead to some sort of attack where they would, just, beat up Jamie Hayter the whole time down the ring. I thought it would be, at least be a decent sized match, not like a 3-minute squash match. I thought maybe upwards 10 minutes. I thought Jamie Hayter would get a little bit of offense in there, but it was, a 3-minute squash. Something that I kind of saw coming, but I also didn't want to see happen because, Jamie Hayter has had a decent run. I know a lot of people critiqued her run with the title, but injuries are coming into play, and that's something that's kind of been messing with it. But something with Jamie Hayter, I feel like maybe, since Tony Khan loves his interim champions, they should have pulled this match. I think the match should have been pulled, and they should have, pulled the title off of her because of injury, did this whole interim thing, and then when she comes back, she could still be champion, fight for that undisputed champion that they always do. Tony Khan loves his interim champions. He couldn't have done one more exception for Jamie Hayter. Put it on Tony Storm and let them go at it again whenever she's fully healthy, ready to go. But no, he sent her out there injured and to get squashed in 3 minutes and make her end of the run looks so bad. Her whole run didn't look so good, but she was injured for a lot of it. So it's hard to say that, oh, it was a bad run or something. She was properly booked. It's just she was injured for a good portion of it. So it's kind of hard to critique it when she was injured. But I just kind of wish they would have went a different route with it. and not have her get squashed with it. She should have. I mean, the match should have been pulled. I mean, that's all I can say about it. It shouldn't have happened. But yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a great match. When they first played her music and she didn't come out, I'm like, well, she's getting beat up in the back, and then they hit it again and she was crawling out of the back. I'm like, this match ain't going that long.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, she must be more hurt than what they're leading on for it to go the way it did, get beat up in the back, come out. It was just so much interference for somebody who's hurt. Like, I didn't need to think it needed to be that much. The spray in the face with the spray can, like, it was just a lot. But, I mean, with Dylan, I think they should have probably had this match maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and then they could have had a better match for the pay-per-view. Like, you don't want a squash match on your signature pay-per-view to go 3 minutes for a women's title knowing that she's hurt. They could have took it off of her on Dynamite a week or two ago. They already knew she's been hurt. She's been hurt. So, like I said, another bad match that it didn't have to go the way it did, because they could have did something about it earlier and then build Toni Storm, have her get some wins at the pay-per-view to when they go to Wembley. And then you have, if she's okay to wrestle, then she wins it back there. But I mean, for her to just win it now and then the next month, when this month, June, right? That's the Wembley show, or is it when is it? August?
August. It's
August. Okay, so 2 months.
It's replacing All Out because it's the
Okay.
5-year anniversary of All In. Whenever they came up with the idea and how successful, then it led to like the planting the seed of creating AEW.
Right.
But when you said signature show, are you comparing it like WrestleMania?
Well, I mean, this is one of their big shows, right?
It's one of their it's their first pay-per-view that started the AEW.
Yeah.
It's their first ever AEW show, but I wouldn't call it their WrestleMania because they don't put the freaking world title in the main event. They put these lame freaking multi-tag team matches like they did every year except 2 years. Justin said, I get why they did what they did, but it still sucked. Now the women's championship is still stuck in that really bad Outcast feud. Yes. Like,
that Outcast faction is terrible.
It's
so bad. Like, Soraya doesn't
so
talk
bad.
on the mic very well. I love Ruby. She that's the only saving grace of that. But Soraya sucks. She sucks on the mic. She's I don't know. She's terrible.
She was way better in WWE as Paige, and now the tables have turned, or the page turned in this chapter of her career. Went to a bad chapter. Then we get this impromptu match, you can call it. It was an open challenge by House of Black, the trios champs. So I'm like, oh, good, I get to see Buddy Matthews in action. Which, I don't know, but I love Buddy Matthews. He looks like $1 million with no tattoos compared to the other two. And so there's an open house rules match, which it's kind of hard to understand the rules. It's like any 3 men can challenge them for the title. It don't have to be an actual trio. The lights are kind of dim. You know, they got their Titantron running in the background, and they get to choose the stipulation of the match. Basically, that's what their version of an open house rule is. So the Acclaimed step up, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and of course, Daddy Ass himself, Billy Gunn. By the way, I love the rap about Dominic. I kind of laughed.
Oh, Rhea responded to that on social media.
Yeah. She said a tweet something like, oh, we're taking over 2 companies or some shit like that.
She's like, we're over in 2 companies.
Yeah, Buddy's getting cucked by a kid named Dominic. Yeah. I was hoping the crowd would have had a major awe, but like I said, Dylan said that crowd sucked. Instead, the crowd, they were bashing each other because of that video that went viral of a guy in the nosebleed watching NXT on his phone while watching the show live and bashing him. I'm like, fuck you, I'd have did the same shit.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's probably people that were at Battleground that were also doing the same thing with AEW.
You know how many times I went to like a Monday Night Raw and I had Monday Night Football on my phone? Especially like if they were like on a commercial break.
Right.
And that was like the last Raw I went to, except I wasn't watching Monday Night Football. I was watching the NBA Finals because it was in the summertime. Let's see. The match was, I didn't realize how long the match was. It was 15 minutes and 30 seconds. They gave him a hell of a fight. but House of Black retains. I like these titles better, the silver plates instead of the gold plates for the. I don't know if that's just for them or they actually like change the design of the titles, but I think the silver plates on those belts with the House of Black makes it look 10 times better. Make no sense why they had the Acclaim be a surprise when they won the Trista Mayo Battle Royal and got them. Maybe that was their like match. Like we're not gonna tell y'all when we're gonna do it, and they did a Double or Nothing. Jordan Dillon, what's your take on this open challenge?
I mean, it was good. I mean, I didn't know about the Battle Royal. I must have not been watching at the time whenever they had it. So it was cool to see the Acclaim come out. I loved the line with Dominic. Thought that was pretty cool. But other than that, the match was pretty decent. You know, I know one of the Guns, even though they're in that storyline, still hating their father. I know he still called him out on there, and he said he was the GOAT in it. Like he did well in the match. You know, Billy Gunn did good for his age. Man, this dude can still go, and the match was good. But House of Black should not lose the championships at any time right now. They are carrying those titles. I was so happy they won them from the Elite, but yeah, this needs to be it for them. Like they need to keep those titles for a long time because they are fucking killing it. You know, I love that they're finally doing something with Malachi, with Brody, and with Buddy, and even with Julia Hart. You know, I hated her when she was this fucking cheerleader. They turned her into the House of Black, and man, they've been killing. They're on a tear lately. You know, there's no trios team that should dethrone them right now because they're killing it.
Before Jordan gets his thoughts, let's all take a guess, and then when he's done, we're gonna just guess how old Billy Gunn is right now. And they won that Battle Royal on Cinco de Mayo, I think, because that's why they called it that. The La Trace something Battle Royal, however it's called.
Yeah, I believe it was on Rampage.
I thought it was on. Because Rampage was Cinco de Mayo was on a Friday this year.
It was on Friday, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So while we think of how old Billy Gunn is, and I'm gonna hold my hands up so you know I ain't cheating. Like the Astros. Fuck y'all, that's my club. Jordan, what was your take on the trios match with the Acclaim and House of Black?
It was a great match, and you know, scissor me daddy ass. Yeah, it was a great match.
I'm gonna say 62 for Billy Gunn.
62?
I'm gonna say 62.
I'll go 56.
I'll go 64.
That's my favorite Nintendo, by the way.
I'll go 55.
What is it?
I thought you had the answer.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up. Okay,
I thought you were asking us.
I know. I thought you already had the.
Billy
I never
Gunn.
looked at my phone. I thought it was him that asked. That's why I never looked.
Okay. One more. Say y'all's numbers one more time. I said 62. Jordan said 64. Freddie, what did you say?
I said 56.
You said 56. What did Dylan say?
I said 55.
Freddie's the closest. He's 59.
Okay.
Wow, he's 59 too.
Man.
Wow.
It don't say when his birthday. They must have fucked up here. It don't say when his birthday is, but he obviously. Oh, November 1st. He turned 60 November 1st of this year.
Yeah. You know what? I got a funny story before I give my opinion on the match. Here in Orlando, in Apopka, the town I live in, I used to play in what is called Junior Magic. It's like for kids. And Billy Gunn used to live in my neighborhood during like peak Attitude Era. And he used to come with he had the only big pickup truck in my town with the big wheels. So everybody knew it was him. And me and his son played on the same Junior Magic team. It was fun.
Which one, Austin or Colton?
I don't know which one it was. I just know we used to see him come in. I used to say, "Oh, that's Billy Gunn," and he had a white truck with like monster truck wheels on it, and he would ride like you see him in Walmart and stuff. I'm like, "Oh shit!"
I was gonna say, did his truck look like a monster truck, or was it just?
It was just a big white. I don't know if it was a Ford or Chevy. It was white and it had just big wheels on it,
like monster truck wheels.
Basically, something like that. It was humongous.
Okay, but it was pretty lifted up too.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow. All right.
But the match though was good. I thought this was. I mean, it was a solid match. Billy Gunn took the pin, which he rightfully should have took the pin. You shouldn't be pinning any of the Acclaim members other than him. But I don't know where the House of Black goes after this, though. What's the next trio? There's no more. There's really no trio unless they put together a makeshift trio, or you add somebody in with Juice Robinson and Switchblade. You get a third one, and you have that. You can do that.
The only other trio I could think of, they are the 6-man tag champs in Ring of Honor, and that's the Embassy. It's the only other trio I could think of.
Right.
I'm not saying best friends. I don't want it to happen. I don't want the Dark Order. I've been seeing Dark Order on Ring of Honor lately. That's where you've been seeing a lot of those day ones of AEW lately. I don't know who could and I doubt Blackpool Combat Club. I mean, if they all want to try and win gold, like Claudio still got the Ring of Honor World title, and then if like Brian and Mox and Wheeler Yuta want a championship again, and then we'll talk more about them. Speaking of lifting, I'll tell you what, lift our spirits up. The next series of what happens. So this was my official piss break of the morning when I watched this match. So we get Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie for the TBS Championship. So it turns out they still fucking mix up her record. Like, I remember on Dynamite, they said she had 62 wins. But on this night, they said, oh, she's going for her 60th win. Only one on Dynamite I know is Butcher Blade and Kip. Okay. Maybe for a Dynamite or Rampage or something. So Taya Valkyrie, they both get these special entrances. Tyra has a traditional Vegas showgirl entrance. They had the Vegas showgirls just dancing around and she coming out. And then fucking Jade Cargill, this pretty girls walk like this. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, I hope that's not her new theme song, but no, it was just a one-time. I didn't even know who the singer was. I thought that was Saweetie or something, or freaking Megan Thee. It ain't Megan Thee Stallion. She got a fat ass. I don't know who that chick was.
Oh man!
But they had this, and I'm telling, like I said, and then Smart Mark. I'm glad Taya took his ass out. That's another guy I can't fucking stand. Smart Mark Sterling. But this, oh man, I've always complimented that she had 2 botches in this match. Well, they actually both had botches.
They both had botches early.
And then it ends, and then I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for Chris. Because Smart Mark gets a mic. I'm like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna get Chris. Chris gonna come out. He starts talking about, oh, she got her 60th win, but there's no one to step up. So if there's anybody that wants an open challenge, well, then we hear, I guess Chris Statlander got a new theme song because I didn't recognize it.
Me neither. I thought it was somebody new. Yeah.
I didn't recognize it until I saw the Titantron. Speaking of that, how many times is House of Black going to change their fucking theme song? They always have a different theme every time they come out, and I bitch about it on Twitter every time. And she come out, I'm like, holy shit, she's back. I'm like, well, let's see how long this stretches. No, she kind of pulled a Charlotte Flair on Ronda Rousey at the end of last year. She goes, I'll face. Didn't even get on the mic. They're like, the referee's here. It's like, oh, she's here. We're having this match right now. And I'm like, oh shit, come on, Chris. And what happened? 48 seconds, time just stood still, and you can hear it in Tony. Tony Schiavone sounded like Jim Ross at WrestleMania 20 when Chris Benoit won the title. He was so hoarse, screaming for joy. And she wins the championship, and I'm like, thank God this shit is over. Jade finally loses a match, and then everybody's bitching on the internet that Jade lost. And that's not fair. They fucked her over. And shut the fuck up. You were just complaining that she's a boring champion. As soon as they take the title from her, then you want to complain. The match was just incredibly boring, like basically all of Jade's matches during her reign. Thank God Statlander came back and put an end to that misery. Yes, and the belt looks so good on her. I didn't watch the media scrum, which I watched a couple of clips of MJF's and I laughed at his shit. We'll talk about them later. But what was y'all reaction when Chris came out and then just at the blink of an eye, the match just happened and she took the title from her in 48 seconds? Jordan, how about you go first on this one?
Yeah, it was awesome when she came out and she beat her. I was messaging Dylan when that happened, and he was like, "She lost." I'm like, it was awesome.
Dylan?
So Marcus, I know me and you don't, disagree much on this show. We agree on a lot of things, but I actually really enjoyed Jade's entrance. This one built her to be a star, and they gave her a star entrance, and I thought it was really good. I've actually gone back and watched it quite a few times, and it was a really cool entrance. It's very unique. They do a lot of unique entrances for AEW, and Jade is one to really get a lot of those unique entrances. And this one, I just knew they were going to keep the title on her after they had this entrance over Taya. Even Taya Valkyrie had a great entrance as well, but yeah, I think it was time to finally take it off of her. 60-0, hell of an accomplishment. A lot of these matches were these open challenges. It's kind of like that international championship, not a lot of meaning behind it, but she had a good rivalry, I found, with the time that they were given for Taya Valkyrie. I thought they had a really good rivalry. The whole battle with the finishing move, how Taya couldn't use it because it was already, pretty much a dead replica to Jaded, and it was something she couldn't do. So it was a good rivalry. Entrances were good, and if this was the piss break for you, then you missed a pretty decent match. I thought it was better than some of them out there. But yeah, Chris Statlander coming back, I knew this was finally time they were going to do it, but I didn't know they were going to put the title on her right then and there. So for them to finally pull the trigger on Statlander, I thought they would maybe do it, maybe Forbidden Door. They would kind of drag it out to All In. No, they did it that night, and they got a good reaction. Chris Statlander's been deserving of this for a while, but I mean, it's just hard to disagree or to even, just not acknowledge the run that Jade had with that championship and being undefeated 60-0. So hell of a run for her. She deserves her flowers, but Chris Statlander is the new holder of the title, and she's going to have a good run with it. I'm expecting some good rivalries. I'm expecting Jade to get some sort of rematch. Or, I've seen reports that she may take some time off to even rebuild her character, maybe even come back with a different character. So if that's the case for her, I'm really interested in it. So it was good to see a good run in and something new for Chris Statlander happening.
Yeah, I mean the match, it was an okay match. It wasn't too bad. I disagree with how Statlander won the belt and how they took the belt off of Jade. I wanted the belt off of Jade like everybody else, but I think having Statlander come back and beat somebody who just had a match, it kind of lessens it for me. I think they could have did this Wednesday. She could have came back Wednesday, open challenge, come out, have a decent match, win, new champ. But to come back and already beat somebody who just had a match, it kind of it lessens the win for me. It does. I think they could have waited till Wednesday to do this. She could have came back Wednesday and beat her. That's it. Simple.
My favorite Jade Cargo entrance was the one she did at Revolution last year, where they got Big Boy to play the guitar, and she come out looking like Jade from Mortal Kombat. That was my favorite Jade Cargo entrance.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
My least favorite entrance was She-Hulk, where she
I
broke through
remember
that
that.
brick wall. Was that a Full Gear or All Out?
Can't remember, but Jade Cargill, every pay-per-view has a very unique entrance. So I gotta give her that, She has that star factor, she has that star look. So dropping a TBS championship, taking a little bit of time off, it could open up something different for her. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with Jade after this. She needs to build, her wrestling moves a little bit better. I know she botches quite a bit, but still she has that look of a complete star. So if they book her correctly, she gets better in the ring a little bit, and she's going to be unstoppable.
Well, after Battleground, I took a nap, and when I woke up and got on Twitter, Jade Cargill was #1 trending worldwide, and #2 trending worldwide was Bianca Belair. So I'm clicking on both, but it's the same shit. I'm telling you, there were millions of people that were furious that both Bianca and Jade lost their titles the same weekend, back-to-back nights.
Yep, I seen that. I seen they took the belts off the black girls. I saw that.
Yeah,
so that's trending a lot.
I think it was Black Twitter that was like furious, like because they lost the back-to-back nights.
But I mean, they both had long runs with the belt, so something had to give eventually.
And I love Bianca, but that reign was terrible. That her first reign was way better than that year reign because she was just doing squash matches too, jobber matches too. The only step up she had was Becky Lynch and Asuka. She had one more good feud. Was it? I think it was Bayley. That's like her only 3 great feuds she had with the championship. Was Becky, Bayley, and Asuka. Jade ain't had one good feud.
No, she hasn't. She's beating everybody in under 2 minutes. Basically,
she was beating indie wrestlers. She was beating Ring of Honor women. She was beating AEW originals and former WWE talent and former Impact talent and maybe New Japan. I don't know if she challenged for it. I think she did have one match. I was like, okay, she made her look good. I think she had a match with Hikaru Shida or Rio. She had a match with one of them too, but they carried the match. And it was like on an episode of either Rampage or Dynamite. I can't remember. It was sometime last year. So next up, we get the match I thought was going to main event. We get the 4-way match with the 4 pillars. MJF versus Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy, I love you, but man, why you didn't have a special entrance?
He's the only one, right?
You should have had a special entrance because the crowd definitely wasn't getting hyped singing Tarzan Boy like they will everywhere. Sammy Guevara, congratulations to you and Ty announcing y'all having a baby with the cue cards. That was pretty cool. But I saw Ty's post first before I saw this, and I'm like, I thought they just announced it today. No, they announced it at the show. I didn't know that. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I saw one negative comment from the IWC. Everybody hates them two together, but they were happy for them that they're trying to plan a family, and they're on the verge of that. So congrats to Sammy and Ty. Darby, I love the half Elvis, half skull suit that you wore to the ring. That the video package you did with the Las Vegas Elvis in the chapel. I've seen that same Elvis too once when I went to Vegas, but I didn't go near him because if you interact with anybody like that, it's like $20 for a picture. So that was pretty cool. I was expecting him to like come out to the ring in a Cadillac with Elvis. No, he come out skateboarding in a Elvis suit. Like that was like half skeleton, half Elvis. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And then MJF, Jesus Christ. If that boy don't go to hell when he passes away, that boy frozen down to the ring in a throne wearing that like devil mask. And then I'm hearing Tony because I love Tony Schiavone's hate of MJF and his like this sickening thing, like Jesus like plucked him in the nose and said, "Say something in my behalf." Like this is the most unbelievable thing I can think of in my entire life. Like just bashing his entrance in the throne and everything. And I'm laughing at like all my AEW buddies on Twitter, like Adam Goldberg and Matt Trigger, the AEW black guy, he calls himself on Twitter, and he's like, they're quoting Triple H like, "Behold the King of Kings" on one post. And then another one quoted Cody Rhodes' song, "I Am My Kingdom" or something like that. I'm like, this is great. Like I didn't retweet them, but shout out to those two for those tweets. Those were awesome. But man, what a match. What did you think? This was the match of the night. Not that fucking bullshit at the end, but this was the match of the night. I loved how at one point they like Darby Allin hit a scorpion death drop on, I think it was MJF. And
they all used their four people who mentored them, their moves on each other.
Darby did the scorpion death drop to MJF. Then Sammy hit the code breaker on Jungle Boy. Mm-hmm. And then
Jungle Boy hit the kill. It was the kill switch, was it right? From Christian.
Hit the kill switch from Christian, and then fucking MJF hit Crossroads.
Yeah.
And I love how like MJF must have had a mic on because at one point I think it was Darby or Jungle Boy diving, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And he landed on him, or he's like, "You fucking kidding me?" Like you can hear him, or "You fucking suck." Like hear him talking shit. And then that quadruple submission, like he had MJF had like Jungle Boy in a sleeper hold, and then he had somebody in a figure four, and then Sammy had MJF in an ankle lock. Or no, Darby had him. I don't know. Or Darby had him in another submission, like that little 4-way submission, something like that.
It looked like a centipede almost. Like they were all trapped together. Yeah.
Even the one point where they had Jungle Boy and MJF both in a submission, and he was trying to tap out, and then Jungle Boy like grabbed his hand, like you ain't tapping out. That was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but MJF gets the win, which I mean, we all knew he was going to win, but I expected it to be a banger, but not like this. Like, man, this was good. That was definitely match of the night. But yeah, MJF wins. But the main question is, who's going to step up next? Like, he's going to eventually compete at Forbidden Door if you watch the media scrum. I wonder who's going to step up to face him. Like, who's going to come out of New Japan, or he calls the indie promotion because they suck. I don't know. Who would you like to see challenge MJF at Forbidden Door? If y'all three can each give me a name, who would you like to see step up?
I mean, Okada would be the most logical. Would be the only one I would think that would go up against him. But then, do you want MJF being Okada though? I don't know.
I was gonna say Tanahashi.
Yeah, Ibushi.
What about you guys? Who do you think? Who would you like to see come out of New Japan to face MJF at Forbidden Door?
So, I mean, if you're going to do this whole champion versus champion thing, if they even decide to go that route Forbidden Door, then I mean, Sonata is the world champion right now over there. So I'm not opposed to seeing MJF Sonata go at it at Forbidden Door. But I mean, it's like you're at that point where should you do, champion versus champion? Because I don't think either one of them should pin the other.
Right.
So MJF, I think, should take on someone from New Japan who can afford to take a loss. I think MJF's at that point in his title reign where he shouldn't really be losing right now. So, I mean, looking at New Japan's roster, I mean, I'm very select few names out there where I can see this being a really good match. I mean, I'm not trying to be biased with interviews when we just interviewed him, but Clark Connors is doing great things with the Bullet Club right now. I'm not hating on a Clark Connors MJF match because Clark Connors is at a great point in his career right now with the Bullet Club, getting recruited by David Finlay. So I'm not hating on that too much either. So it would be a cool storyline too with the Bullet Club, them interfering and maybe seeing some AEW talents interfere at New Japan. I mean, it would be something really cool to happen. So I mean, if I'm gonna go non-title, I would go with Clark Connors. I think that would be a cool match to have over there.
Jordan.
I might have to go with Freddy's pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say Tanahashi in MJF for the AEW title. If I had to pick anybody from AEW to challenge Sonata, maybe like Adam Cole or something, just so I don't have to see him and Jericho at it again.
Or you know what? Maybe he doesn't even have to have a single match at Forbidden Door. Maybe they throw him in a fucking tag team. Maybe they put him and somebody together and they fight two people from New Japan. Where if he does lose, he's not losing a singles match. You can still get by him taking an L, him not getting pinned.
I'm sorry, I brought up She-Hulk, and that's the second time Tim commented about the She-Hulk entrance.
No, that was me. It was an accident. I accidentally hit the comment again.
Oh, so you're pulling a page out of my book when I did SAT Sports.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. That's the first thing I thought about when I hit it again. I'm like, fuck, I just did a Marcus.
It only happens when I'm hosting the StreamYard. Like if I don't play with my mouse, if I don't move my mouse, god damn, what the fuck? If I don't touch my PC at all, my screen's gonna go black, and I'll feel like this camera's gonna, but the camera don't go off. So I have to move the mouse, but sometimes I have to click it. But if I click it, the comments will magically pop up. But when they were at the comments where I left the mouse the last time, that's why your shit popped up 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Where I could have just pressed enter, but no, I want to play with my mouse. So, what did you think of the 4-way? Was it the match of the night?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
What would you rate it out of 5 stars? The Four Pillars match.
I mean, I'd probably go like 3.5, upwards to a 4.
I'll go a 4.
I give it a
Fred?
4. I think it's one of the better Fatal 4-Way matches you'll see probably this year. If any company has another Fatal 4-Way, I think this is one of the best ones you'll see. So I give it a 4. It was the match of the night, and it should have main evented to me.
I'll say 4 as well. All right, before we talk about the main event, the only thing I want to say right now, WWE. Remember when we did our show and the IWC was bitching about Seth Rollins winning because they thought he was going to run away for a while in Hollywood? He's on Raw right now, coming through the crowd like he's in the Shield with the new world title. He's probably going to have a celebration, and then he's going to go finish his last scene, and he'll be back on Raw every Monday night. So people were complaining for no reason. God, that belt looks so good on him right now. All right, let's get to the main event of this fucking shit shack right here. So we get the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite, Anarchy in the arena, and everything I said was going to happen. Justin Roberts, shit's about to hit the fan. He said it again. Moxley bled that quick. And of course, they play Wild Thing to the ring, but they got the actual band, not the cover band or whatever. What is it? Violent Artists or whatever, to come out. And then next thing you know, I see the internet bitching again because, okay, the lead singer's stage name is Blackface. He's got on a black mask and the whole bottom of his face is painted black, and they were saying it was racist.
When I first seen it, I thought, I was like, all right, I didn't know it was a mask at first. It looked, because they didn't really get a close-up of the face. I was like, damn, this guy's really singing in blackface. It's kind of odd.
Well, I looked up. I watched like 1 or 2 of their videos on YouTube. That's his stage name, Blackface, and he does that at all his shows. I guess everybody saw him for the first time who didn't know who he was.
I had no knowledge of this band at all. Zero.
Me either. When I hear Wild Thing, I think of Jimi Hendrix.
Exactly.
But Jimi Hendrix passed away like 40 years ago. You can't bring him from the dead to play. But of course, just like last year, they're just overplaying the song. And I'm like, make it stop. And thank you to the young. Okay, last year, Jericho busted the soundbar. I thank Jericho 1,000 times for that. This year, the Young Bucks super kicked Blackface, and the band just like ran away for good. And I'm like, thank you, Nick and Matt, for ending that shit. God, I knew they were going to do that shit again. I rather Stadium Stampede than that bullshit.
I agree.
But I wouldn't be surprised with All In Wembley, they're going to eventually have a Stadium Stampede match somehow. But let's talk about, oh God, what the fuck did Matt have on his shoe where he super kicked Mox, and next thing you know, we see an explosion?
Well, he had on these Spider-Man Jordan 1s, and something was at the bottom.
I thought it was the 98 Bulls J1s.
No, those are the new Enter the Spider-Verse that just came out.
Ooh, I bet they're a lot of money. I like those. I'm a Spider-Man guy. So yeah, he just super kicked them. And how is Moxley's face not burned or melted right now?
Right. I mean, that was probably the spot of the match.
I was like, what the? I hollered it like Ted. If you saw Ted too, what the fuck? That's how I reacted. Like, how are you not burned? Like, jeez. But Mox knew what he was doing. Mox is into that kind of shit. Remember, he used to wrestle in GCW. And then I was laughing at the IWC saying, this is chaotic. This isn't wrestling. This is why AEW is a joke. And then they start bringing up the indie comment jokes like, all that for a handshake and a hot dog and all that bullshit.
Jesus.
I don't know what was the craziest spot. That super kick where his shoe exploded, or what Mox did to Matt like he did to Joey Janela at Fyter Fest and did an atomic drop on a barefooted set of thumbtacks. Barefooted.
Yeah, that was
I remember when he did that to Joey Janela at Fyter Fest, and I was like, holy shit. That was, and then Nick Jackson gets diamond cuttered on the thumb, so he had thumbtacks on the side of his face.
They put it in his mouth too.
Yeah, and Claudio did his uppercut. I was waiting for him to pick him up and do the uppercut, but they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else crazy happened? I remember I saw an extension cord in the ring. I thought that's where the explosion thing came from, but no. That poker chip in the middle of the ring, and on the set, the back of it was covered in barbed wire.
Barbed wire, yeah.
Mox suplex Kenny Omega on the poker chip. Oh God, what else was brutal? What else was some crazy shit? Oh, Kenny got stabbed with a screwdriver by Moxley
over and over.
And Hangman fooled Brian. He had that golden patch on and he took it off and his eye was fine, which I had a feeling that was going to happen. Brian, sometimes I wonder why Brian Danielson was even in this match. He didn't even take no, just the way he was dressed, like he was all dressed in black, like he's ready to fight in an alleyway. And he's got his like hair down and the beard growing out, looking like 2014 Daniel Bryan. And like, it's like, he don't belong in this.
He doesn't. I was thinking the same thing. When I saw them walking down, I almost forgot that he was in that group. It just doesn't mesh right. It doesn't fit. He doesn't seem like he needs to be in that group. It's so it's just off with that.
I can see him being like the mouthpiece of the group, but that's Don Callis for you. He had to do Don Callis's job. And then all I can remember later, I remember speaking of Don Callis, he was in the ring. I'm like waiting for him to get like hit with a V trigger or one winged angel. Next thing you know, we see a guy in a hood just attack Kenny Omega. Justin called it. It was Konosuke Taikesha. And it was great. And one Bastion Wheeler Yuta being the weakest link of the group, he scores the pinfall for the team. They win, and then Taikesha's in the group. And Dylan mentioned this got to lead to a blood and guts if they can get Kota Ibushi, and then we'd have the Elite Gold back, or Gold Elite back together when Ibushi was a trio with the Young Bucks. It's going to build up, but this is what I'm saying. Have this match at Forbidden Door. Don't do this shit on Dynamite. If you're going to do a blood and guts with Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite, you got to do it at Forbidden Door, or if you even do it like at All In or some shit. But
yeah,
crazy match, brutal match. Started off like shit, then it ended in questions. But Dylan, what all you got to say about everything from the exploding super kick to the atomic drop barefooted on the tags to Taikesha joining the Blackpool Combat Club, or how long until this builds to a blood and guts match?
So I think this immediately builds to a blood and guts. I said it. A lot of people said it last night on Twitter that it should lead to Kota Ibushi coming and joining with the Elite. He's familiar with all members of the Elite, so it only makes sense for him to come to AEW. He's a free agent right now out of his contract with New Japan, so it only makes sense for him to come over there and to team with them for blood and guts, even make him all Elite. He's that top name right now that I feel like can go anywhere. I feel like Jay White was that first name that was like top of the list. He can go anywhere. Now he's with AEW, and now it's back to Kota Ibushi. He's that top name on the free agent list right now. He is going to go to AEW. He's going to team with the Elite, and it's going to set up blood and guts. But as for the match, I thought the match was good. It was everything that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be mayhem. It involves Jon Moxley, so it's gonna be some sort of mayhem in this match. The first few minutes of it was absolute mayhem. The band's constantly playing Wild Thing. I think a ref was already bleeding, within the first few minutes of the match, and it was just all over the place. But then, finally things came together, and I really didn't see the ending of the match happening with Takeshita turning on Kenny, but I kind of feel like something like that would have happened because Don Callis was the one who recruited Takeshita, in the first place. So now that Callis is not with the Elite no more, I feel like maybe that was going to bring Takeshita with Callis, and it did. Now he's going to be He's going to be aligning himself with the Blackpool Combat Club, and I think it sets up Blood and Guts. But yeah, Marcus, I agree with you. You know, I don't see this happening at a Dynamite. It should happen at a Forbidden Door, or even drag it to All In. You know, it's going to suck to drag it all the way to August if they do it with All In, but it doesn't make any sense to have it at Forbidden Door because it involves really no one from a New Japan side. You know, you think it would be New Japan versus AEW for almost every match that they have, and this involves absolutely nobody from New Japan. So I don't see it happening at Forbidden Door. So if they're gonna drag it, like they drag rivalries like crazy in AEW, so what's wrong with dragging another one like this one all the way to All In? So I could see it happening more All In than Forbidden Door, but it's 100% gonna happen, and Kota Ibushi is gonna be there.
Yeah, the match was good, and on our Thursday show when we did the predictions, you asked how long would it take for Jon Moxley to bleed, and it didn't take that long. I said 60 seconds, I think. And yeah, the match was great, and I think it happened at a Forbidden Door instead of a Dynamite.
Yeah, I thought the match was good. Like it was what it was supposed to be. I think it's a lot of it gets me when you have a 4-on-4 and then there's people in the backstage, there's people in the crowd, there's people in the ring, and the camera cuts. It's like shit. But I mean, other than that, like I said, the spot of that match was a super kick with the firework. Obviously, the thumbtacks on the feet. I did see Kenny do a post interview where he said he's going to call 2 people that are non-AEW wrestlers for help. So I guess one could be Ibushi, and who the next one, I don't know. I don't know if Hangman's going to be in this feud with them going forward, or is he going to recruit 2 new people to join them? So, I mean, I guess that's kind of interesting to see where that goes. But they're definitely having a blood and guts match. Maybe they do a 3-on-3 at Forbidden Door instead of having the 5-on-5. They do something. But I guess we'll have to see.
Do you think they're going to also do a blood and guts for women too? Because remember, TK said they were the women feuding with the Outcasts and Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter and all that, or not anymore with Jamie Hayter being out.
Yeah, no, I doubt it. Mm-hmm. Plus, a 3-on-3 with those that would suck.
They could do a 4-on-4. I mean, it just would not include Jamie. I feel like Jamie Hayter needs to be a part of that if it's that serious or not. But what did you think of the show as a whole? Like, what would you rate the whole show, Double or Nothing, out of 5?
So as for the show goes, I actually seen a picture on Twitter that was like the perfect representation of the show. It was like a drawing of a horse, and like first like half of the horse was like completely poorly drawn, and then the second half of it, and then the second half was like the most beautiful horse you ever seen in your life. And this is exactly how AEW was yesterday. It like started out so bad. Exactly, it started out so bad, but then it got better. Like at the moment Chris Statlander won, it kind of woke the crowd up, and then that set it up for the last few matches being really good, and the crowd was actually very invested. So it wasn't the greatest because of how poorly the first half of the show was, but it got better, and I mean, it did its thing, so I'm going to be fair with the rating. I'm going to go 3 out of 5. I thought it was a decent show, but I mean, it could have been like an easy 5 if the crowd would have been better and they would have did better with the matches, because, even the Jericho match with Adam Cole was just bland. I mean, there was nothing exciting about it. It was such a slow paced, unsanctioned match. And even a battle royal, they could have did something different with that title. And I don't know, like the whole first half was rough, but second half was better. So I think a 3 is like a perfect score for it.
I'll go a 3 too.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. I want to say 2.5 because it's a 4-hour fucking pay-per-view, and they make you wait 3 hours in until they give you the good shit. Like, if you're gonna throw a 4-hour pay-per-view out there, you got to have some good fucking matches in there. And the first almost 4 matches were shit. And so, like you said, the latter match kind of woke people up. That was kind of there. Then you had the down match with the women's title, and then the Chris Statlander winning. But even that match was no reaction until Chris Statlander came out and won. So, I mean, up until that point, you were one out of 5 at that point
Mhm.
until the Pillars match, and then the match, the Anarchy was match. I mean, they can't just keep throwing out 4-hour pay-per-views. They need to cut that shit down. From 8 o'clock and we're up until midnight watching this shit on a Sunday. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, and yeah, it's a holiday weekend still, but I mean, we can handle only a certain amount. I mean, I was actually shocked. Like last year's Double or Nothing, there was like 14, 15 total matches. And
Yeah, it went like 5 hours.
That's including the buy-in. Seth and AJ versus I just saw that. And now,
wait. So AJ's on Raw now? What the fuck?
Yeah, what happened to this fucking draft that they just had?
Fucking draft is pointless.
Lord have mercy.
Like Ricochet's about to fight The Miz in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. I'm sure Ricochet's going to win that. And then they got Bronson Reed and Nakamura in a Money in the Bank qualifying match later tonight, which that sucks. I mean, if I have to pick one, I'll probably say Nakamura, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bronson wins.
What they should have did was had Nakamura versus Miz, Bronson versus Ricochet, and have Nakamura and Bronson in the fucking Money in the Bank. It's so stupid to put those two next to each other. It's so dumb.
I mean, I kind of want Ricochet, and he's gonna do some crazy shit in that match.
Yeah, but you know what? But then you're gonna have Ricochet or you're gonna have Montez. You're gonna have both of them. So if Ricochet wins, that means Montez loses. If Ricochet loses, Montez is gonna win. Because you have to have one person who's gonna take all the high spots.
Well, Ricochet's gonna win because
let's hope.
I want LA Knight in that fucking match.
We all do. We want him to win the fucking Money in the Bank.
A pre-Money in the Bank pick before they have announced all the qualifying matches. I have LA Knight and Selena Vega. That's my pre-pick.
No, you know what? I would take Selena. No, I don't think Selena's gonna win Money in the Bank. I think Zoe Stark, you could put Money in the Bank on her and have her hold it.
That's a good one. Any pre-Money in the Bank picks? I mean, we got a whole month before we have that prediction show. Just like a pre-pick.
Pre-pick for who's going to win Money in the Bank?
Yeah,
or the match, or the matches.
The men and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. Yeah.
I'll go LA Knight and Zoe Stark. If Zoe Stark is in one of these qualifying matches, which I don't know, they may put her against Becky for all I fucking know.
And I said LA Knight and Selena Vega. All right, Dylan, Jordan.
For the men's LA Knight and for the women's Io Sky.
Okay.
I'll say LA Knight and Zoe Stark.
All right. Well, that will do it for tonight's special edition Fallout. And we usually only do one live stream a week, but this week you're going to get 2 because we're going to be on our regular schedule. Our next live stream will be June 1st. We still have a few topics we're going to pick from, and then we'll let you guys know when that day comes. But again, Freddy, the last 2 episodes, you kicked ass. We enjoyed having you on. We would like to have you back on for our Money in the Bank prediction show.
Yeah, let me know.
I think it's June 29th. So, yeah, Money in the Bank's July 1st. So, yeah, June 29th will be our Money in the Bank prediction show.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
Hell yeah. Bring that A game like you did today. But, yeah.
Always.
Let the listeners know where they can find you on social media and your new podcast.
Yeah, The Real Freddy 85. That's my personal podcast. We also started a podcast, me and my 3 friends, called Talking About It All, TBA. You can follow them on Twitter. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. 3 episodes in so far. So, go follow, support. And I'll definitely be joining you guys whenever you guys want me on. Shoot me a text message or a DM. I'll join. Don't matter.
I'll have to bring you on down the road for a nostalgia episode where I'll go back and watch a pay-per-view from the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression
please
era.
Do. Listen, I have an Ultimate Warrior tattoo here. Look at this. That's how you know it's kind of legit.
Damn. Dylan, Jordan, y'all have any last words?
No, man, I got nothing. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Only one more thing I have left. I can't wait. Tomorrow starts season 4 of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes, 10 episodes.
Yep. It's going to last the whole summer. And the one I am really hyped to see, they're finally doing one on my dad's favorite wrestler, the Junkyard Dog.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, this is real quick. While I pop it up, I'll let Dylan close out like the usual, like our social medias and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can find the podcast on Twitter at World Elite Pod. As you can see on your screen, you can follow myself at Dylan Aber _ Jordan, Jordan _ J2000, Marcus Elite 337. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram. I mean, pretty much any social media possible. The audio versions of the podcast can be found on all major audio platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, our main distributor, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, everywhere where you listen to a podcast. That we haven't released an audio in a little minute now, but soon enough we'll get one out there. We had one planned last week, but due to my dental procedure, had to kind of postpone that, but we'll get one out probably next week. Our sponsors, first, W Energy. You can go to w.gg and use our promo code, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, World Elite Pod, to get 10% off. And at 80steez.com, use our promo code World Elite to get 30% off your order. And I believe that's it, Marcus, if you're ready to close it out.
Yes, I am. And I'm going to have to just pop it up on something else because it kept popping up every time I popped it on Facebook, and now it wants to be a chicken shit and not show it, but I got it right here, and this is the order they're going to do it. Like, it starts tomorrow, and it concludes in August. There's 10 episodes. I think they're also going to, like, do, like, an intermission, you know, like, they're going to do, like, the first 5 episodes. They take, like, 3 to 6 weeks off before they do the second half, like they did with season 3 2 years ago. But tomorrow's episode premiere of season 4, they're doing Chris Candido and Tammy Lynn Sitch. Then Magnum TA, Adrian Adonis, Doink the Clown.
Oh, Doink.
The Junkyard Dog, Marty Jannetty, Bam Bam Bigelow, Abdullah the Butcher, Bash at the Beach 2000, mainly focusing on Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan, and the season finale is the Graham family, but they're mainly going to focus on Eddie and Mike.
A couple of those pop out. Doink, Bam Bam, Bash at the Beach 2000. We kind of know the story there. I mean, it's nothing new. I thought Sunny was going to have her own fucking episode. She's a nutcase herself. She could have had just one about her.
That'll be season 5, probably.
Shit.
They were talking about doing that. They were talking about, because, like, I think it was Benoit's episode. They mainly talked about Eddie, but they were talking about they wanted to give Eddie his own episode, but they kind of already did Eddie's on Benoit's. So that was a talk in the works. I'm pretty sure down the road they're going to do one on WWE going to Saudi, Vince McMahon him fucking self. Shit. Probably Pat Patterson. I could see a Pat Patterson episode down the road. Didn't they do one on Lex Luger? Didn't they do one on Miss Elizabeth? I think they did.
No.
I thought they did. I know they did one.
They did one on Macho Man and mentioned Miss Elizabeth in the Macho Man one.
Well, they should. Yeah, she needs her own episode. I think they did one on Moolah, but I think they need to do one on Mae Young if she didn't have her own episode. I don't know who else they can do. I know they did one on the Ultimate Warrior.
I'm assuming Scott Hall will have one if he hasn't already.
I could see a Scott Hall one. You know, here's another one: Wrestling Society X.
Oh. Or the XFW, that shit that they had.
They actually did that was XPW. Never mind. Fuck. What else good what they could do? That I can think of. Didn't they do one on Brian Pillman? I think they did.
They did Pillman, yes.
They did do one on Brian Pillman.
They did Pillman. They did Owen. They did the Screw Job.
Did they do Stu Hart?
They didn't do Stu Hart.
They did Owen Hart. I know that.
They did Owen, yeah. They did the what was that called? The North Korea show?
Yeah, the show in Korea, yes. Yeah. They did that one. Yeah, I think Owen Hart's had it was one of the highest rated episodes they watched outside of Benoit's and the Ultimate Warriors. That was like the top 3 right there. Oh shit. Another one I could see probably WCW's Fall, like in 2001. I could see that happening.
I think Hulk Hogan deserves one too.
Hogan's would probably be a 2-parted like Benoit.
Yeah. Hogan, Brutus Beefcake could have one. He's got some shit.
Fuck. What's another one? Bruno Sammartino. Did he have some shit?
I don't believe he did. I'm not sure.
Oh shit. I don't know. That's some good ones right there. Like we could go on, but we need to go. People want to watch Raw instead of looking at us. But that will do it for today. Thank you again, Freddie. You're always more than welcome to join in and come.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us, Dylan, Jordan. Pleasure to meet both of y'all.
For sure.
It's been great.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and summertime's here, baby, and Summer of Wrestling is underway, and it's going to be fun. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys this Thursday.
Peace.
Pushing and pulling me back and forth diabolically. Spent so much time in paradise.